Okay, James O'Neill, Columbia Credit Union, traveled to Brush Prairie, Washington. Gonna meet with Dave and Josh again with ReNew Creations and check out what they did. We've left Washougal, now we're in Brush Prairie, Washington. Tell me what we're looking at today.
Well, this is a project that began as a master bath remodel, a pretty extensive master bath remodel, in a nice master bath. It grew from there. In addition to that one, there's a bath down in the basement of this home that we redid. And along the way, we also discovered that the house was plumbed with a type of pipe that is prone to failure. The homeowners made the tough decision to ask us to replumb and repipe the entire home. There's a lot of plumbing in this home, many sinks, faucets, hose bibs, toilets. We had holes in many of the walls and ceilings throughout the house as we did the repipe and did all the repair associated with that. Thankfully, they were out of the state at the time, and there was no disruption to their lives at all, but we were basically from top to bottom throughout the house.
You know, I think that's something that a lot of us don't realize as homeowners is there's a lot of supplies that are manufactured and you don't really see any potential failure until it starts happening 5 years, 10 years down the line. Mm-hmm. And some of us don't even pay attention to that. It's not like we get a letter in the mail sometimes.
Right.
One thing that caught my eye here, I walked in here and I noticed this. This is not the normal type of mantle here.
Not at all.
This is very unique. What am I looking at here?
Oh, this was a lot of fun. This happened actually after the main project was complete. In fact, it was several months later that I received a call from them. And the issue was that when this fireplace is on, it generates quite a bit of heat. The heat rises, it was coming up to the TV, and every now and then the TV would shut off. Well, we can't live with that, so we had to come up with a way to resolve that problem. So they suggested that we put a mantle, and we were debating, well, do we put a mantle of wood or rock, or what type of material do we use? Well, the fellow who owns the home flies helicopters for a living, and we just came up with the creative idea to replicate a wing off of a helicopter. And we had a custom shop build this thing. If you look at the detail on it, it's all riveted and replicated to look exactly like a section of helicopter wing. It came out great. It absolutely does its job of deflecting the heat away from the TV, and it's just a great conversation piece.
That is great. Now, did we replace the wing on the existing helicopter?
No, it flies like this now.
Okay. I'm just making sure if we need to tell anybody that their wing is gone. Well, I'm excited. Let's go check out the bathroom.
You bet.
All right, Josh, so we're in the bathroom. You told me earlier, you enjoy remodeling every home, but you like the creativity that comes along with some bathrooms. There's always unique projects that come along with that. But as a remodeler, the relationship with your vendors, those are kind of those third parties that are part of the project that are so important.
Yeah. In this particular project, two of the really big vendors we used that are sponsors of the remodeled home store here, of course, are Contract Furnishings Mart. We sourced all of the tile through them. That's where we go for our hard surfaces, along with DeWill's Cabinetry for the vanities, the custom vanities we had here. And you're absolutely right. Those vendor relationships are super important, and that's why we kind of audit those pretty frequently. We make sure that we maintain those relationships really well, and develop new ones as needed to source really high quality materials and make sure that we have timely deliveries and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's great. I noticed the mirror here. Something's wrong here. I don't look like that. Do I look like that? What is this? I can, okay. Okay, how do you turn it off so I can't see my face? All right, there you go. Tell me a little background of talking with the client, the process that went into creating the bathroom of their dreams.
This project came to us through a interior designer that we've worked with in the past. She has got a lot of high-end clients, and we've been able to serve them really well. It was really a fun time working with her. She kind of consulted on all the selections and kind of helped us bring a full picture into view for the clients on what this could look like. We brought this from a somewhat dated kind of travertine tiled space with dated cabinetry. It was a bit more cut up than it is right now, with an extra linen closet and a kind of a neo-angle shower. We just brought it all up to this open, lighter, brighter, tiles that kind of harken back to some of the childhood homes of the clients,
yeah.
and really we're super thankful that we got to work with the interior designer on this and bring this all to life for the clients.
This bathroom is remarkable, and it's, yeah, you think about it, I mean, it's not that big square footage.
Right.
But you go back to, again, when you bring up the interior designer, you have the suppliers, you have the interior designer, you have the client, and you have the remodelers. I mean, there's so much that goes into a successful project.
There is, yeah. For instance, this is just a fun little stat on like some of our addition projects. We tally up, and there's often more than 100 different sets of hands that go into creating one of those projects. And so you're absolutely right. That's the people on site, and then behind them, how many suppliers and deliveries, and these parts and pieces for this project come from all over the nation, overseas, and come together into a space like this. It's really wonderful to kind of orchestrate something like that.
So Josh, when I walk into maybe a large kitchen remodel or a bathroom remodel, and I hear about knocking down walls, adding walls, plumbing, electricity that goes involved with it, there's always that unknown factor. And when you're knocking out a wall, it's like, oh my gosh, what did we just fall into here? That trust factor with your client, that's when it comes most important, because now you have to have possibly an uncomfortable and unpredictable conversation with them of maybe something you weren't expecting.
Right.
So when you're in the planning process, how does that come into play?
Yeah, well, it's one of the things that we focus on so much in the planning, and we'll do a lot of investigation into these spaces before we ever really identify a final contract price. It's not uncommon for us to, certainly be up in the attic and in a crawl space, but also to open up some walls, to open things up. It's kind of the mentality is it's better to make some holes in some walls and positively identify, what we have to work with and what the challenges are, rather than wait until we're in contract and rolling and end up finding some really prohibitive thing that would really derail the project. So that's certainly the preventative measures that we take on, just to avoid as many of those uncomfortable conversations as possible. But when those uncomfortable conversations do need to happen, the goal is, the day I have bad news, to give that to the client. As soon as I have it. If it's something that's going to drive the budget up, going to delay a project, we never want to sit on that and procrastinate. That clear communication is the only thing that's keeping that trust in place at that point. Just addressing those things head on is the very best policy always.
Because every project goes perfect. I mean, there's never any interruption whatsoever for any project.
That would be wonderful. We control what we can, and then from there, it's a matter of making sure that you maintain that relationship with the client by just being very upfront about what you're going into.
Yeah. Can really use a Snickers. Yeah. So, you show a lot of these homes, people walk in and out. What's your like biggest pet peeve? Like, I mean, people like looking at your finished work. What do you hate?
Putting their grubby grabbers all over our finished work.
Yeah, that'd be annoying.